Hello and welcome. I'm Millicent Walker. Tonight, African business executives at the Africa CEO Forum prescribe good political governance as catalyst for reshaping the continent's economic future. Self-styled leader of indigenous people of Biafra, NNAMDI Kanu, and 3 others to know their fate on April the 25th, when the Federal High Court in Abuja will rule on their bail applications. And that search continues for body of Dr. Orwell Orji, who allegedly jumped to his death in Lagos. Unnamed woman also rescued after plunging into lagoon. And FBI Director James Comey confirms investigation of alleged Russian government interference in the 2016 US presidential election. And in business news tonight, all eyes set on the Central Bank of Nigeria as its Monetary Policy Committee begins its second rate decision meeting for the year.
On sports news tonight, Ghanaian referee Joseph Lamptey gets life ban from FIFA for match manipulation.
And from Abuja, federal government approves new set of immigration regulations to check movement of terrorists through the nation's borders.
We begin tonight from Geneva, the Swiss capital, where over 40 chief executives from across Africa are gathered with global investors seeking ways to shape the continent's new economic future. Deliberations at this year's Africa CEO conference kicked off with emphasis on the shock of major declines in global commodity prices, which has hit a number of African commodities. Participants are, however, optimistic that hopes are rising that the continent may see a new boom, and led not only by natural resources, but by digital technology, entrepreneurship, women in business, among others.
Hundreds of African delegates comprising business executives, government officials and global investors gather each year at the Africa CEO Forum to digest the past, present and future of doing business on the continent of 54 countries. On the first day of this 2-day event, good political governance was the recurring expression, identified as a major enabler for reshaping the future of Africa in the wake of rising economic nationalism around the world.
For Africa, what it should be is not economic nationalism, but economic continentalism. So it's got to be putting Africa first. I think what's not going to work is if individual countries come out and they say, I'm going to put Ghana first, or I'm going to put Mozambique first, because a lot of the countries are quite small. We need to cooperate to create our markets, to build up the infrastructure, the regional trade hubs, all of those things.
For business executives at this forum, they say there are lessons to be learned by African leaders within the context of the recent burst of prices of natural resources and the prospect of a new round of commodity boom.
When we plot our graph or we got tick our boxes for recovery, oil price is the last on the list. The other softer issues that will enable you remain in business, whether prices were high or low, are the critical things we're looking at. And we took advantage of this last 18 months of low oil prices to then ask ourselves, so if prices remain at $40, are we going to run out of business? We will not.
But the story of Africa's economic rebirth is never complete without broadening financial services and innovative solutions tailored to women on the continent. Mrs. Shola David Bora, the new chief executive in charge of Africa region at Standard Bank in South Africa, says the plan by her bank to raise 1 million African women out of poverty is possible if government will provide the basic infrastructure that women need.
Like I said, we are partnering to create 1 million women entrepreneurs, and this is a combination of capacity building, providing, finance as well, and coaching and mentoring.
This round of meetings, discussions and deal-making in Geneva, Switzerland is yet another indication that Africa and its partners around the world are not giving up in seeking answers and solutions to the continent's existing challenges, even as new ones are emerging alongside the opportunities.
The Federal High Court in Abuja has fixed April the 25th to rule on the bail application filed by the self-styled leader of indigenous people of Biafra, NNAMDI Kanu, and 3 others. Mr. Kanu and his co-accused filed an application asking the court to grant them bail in the most liberal terms as their continuous detention has affected their health. According to counsel to the defendants, having quashed 6 of the 11 charges earlier brought against them, the case for which they are now standing trial are bailable offences. Our correspondent Amaka Okafor has more.
This is not an unusual scene at the Federal High Court whenever the trial of the self-styled leader of the indigenous people of Biafra and 3 others come up. At the proceedings, Justice Binta Nyako delivered a ruling on an application seeking to quash the charges against Mr. NNAMDI Kanu and 3 others. In one of the counts dismissed, Justice Nyako said claims by the prosecution that the defendants were researching how to make improvised explosive devices cannot hold water because there is no proof that they were doing it. On another count concerning allegations of belonging to an illegal organization, Justice Nyako also ruled that nothing was placed before the court to indicate that it is an illegal organization. On the charge of importing radio transmission equipment, Justice Nyako says the prosecution did not furnish the court with any proof to suggest that the importation was illegal. She, however, retained 5 other counts of treasonable felony, terrorism, and possession of arms. Following her ruling, the defendants were rearranged on the remaining 5 charges for which they entered a not guilty plea.
11-count charge preferred against the 1st to 4th defendants. And this morning the court delivered ruling on it, and the court struck out count 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, and 11.
6 counts.
Yeah, 6 counts out of 11-count charge. So 5 still stands now. So, and in view of by virtue of section 217 of the ACJI, the defendants were asked to take fresh plea to the counts or third charge. That has been done. And it also presupposes, by virtue of that section of the law, that the entire proceedings will start afresh. And you have heard me when I made a declaration before the court that being the ruling delivered on application for second trial should also be revisited.
And as they left the court premises, their supporters enthusiastically showed solidarity. Amaka Okafor, Channels Television News.
And just a day after Dr. Orji took that plunge into the Lagos Lagoon, a similar incident has been recorded also in Lagos after a middle-aged woman reportedly jumped into the lagoon in the Maza-Maza area of the state. The woman was, however, rescued following the timely intervention of local fishermen and divers in the area. According to eyewitnesses, the woman had walked casually to the Maza-Maza bridge in the Mile 2 area, and to the shock of the people around, she took a dive into the lagoon, but the fishermen dived in after her and rescued her. The woman, dressed in a blouse and trousers, was earlier seen walking aimlessly, and when she got to the middle of the bridge, she climbed the rail and jumped. Although the identity of the woman is yet to be ascertained, it was gathered that she was rushed to a nearby hospital by her rescuers. And it's day 2 of the search for the body of a man identified as Dr. Olwell Orji, who allegedly jumped off the 3rd Mainland Bridge Sunday evening. Officials of the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, LASEMA, who have been conducting the search, say their effort has not yielded any result. The general manager of LASEMA, Adesina Timiayu, told Channels Television that the agency will continue the search until the body is found. Dr. Orji, who worked at the Mount Sinai Hospital in Surulere, Lagos State, was said to be on his way to Victoria Island for a meeting with the Medical and Dental Association of Nigeria when the incident happened.
The large expanse of the Lagos Lagoon remains still 24 hours after a tragic suicidal incident. Mr. Olwell Orji, a medical doctor, was reported to have jumped off the Adekunle and Adeniji Adele end of the 3rd Mainland Bridge into the lagoon on Sunday evening. According to reports, Dr. Orji had ordered his driver to pull over in order to make a call. Within few minutes of the call, he was seen jumping into the lagoon. Before help could come, he had gone with the high tide. A combined team of the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, the Lagos Waterways Authority, the Marine Police and local divers have been carrying out intensive search of the body.
We've had cases of bodies showing up after 3 days, far from the original spot where it drowned, and that's why our search has been expanded to the large area of the waterways. I don't want to say, yes, we will get the body today, and I don't want to say tomorrow, but if we found it today, all well and good. For us, it is a task for us to get the body, and that's what we are doing.
We've been working non-stop with our monitoring team, and not just individually, but even with the community, working with the local divers, working with the fishermen, to ensure that we're able to locate the body wherever it may be on the waterways.
This is not the first time such incidents will happen on the Third Mainland Bridge.
They happened before, but the one we happened last 2008. What is that? That man's a nephew man. Exactly the place where it still happen. So when the piece finish, impact in matter piece finish, from that injured go down. Exactly the thing we happened yesterday.
This block of flats, located on number 3 Odunakon Street in Yaba Local Council Development Area, is where the late Orji resided with his family. But his relatives refused to grant our crew access to members of the victim's immediate family. While the search for Dr. Orji's body continues, his driver is also being interrogated by the police for further information on the circumstances surrounding his action.
Well, joining us on the news at 10 to discuss the disturbing suicide occurrences is Dr. Funmi Akinola. She's a consultant psychiatrist at the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Yaba. Many thanks for joining us on the news at 10.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
What what could make one intentionally take his or her own life?
Well, we'll say that there are many reasons. And number one on the list would be mental illnesses. For example, depression, anxiety disorders, personality disorders, schizophrenia. It could be trauma, like war, assault, sexual, physical assault. We could have chronic illnesses, physical illnesses, terminal illnesses that, this could have emotional impact on the individual. And of course, drug and substance abuse too. Like I said, personality disorders. So these are some of the things, and maybe problems with relationships. Of course, heartbreak. Financial. Sorry?
When you say relationships, heartbreak, one of it?
Yes, heartbreak. Relationships, problem with relationships and financial problems, unemployment, economic issues. So these are some of the things that can cause people to, the situation might become very overwhelming, and they'll just think the easiest way is to take their own lives.
It is said a problem half shared is half solved, and there's also the question of listening. Is it possible that there could be a balance to help the situation? How much can governments do? How much can society do?
Well, I think the way the government can really come in is to establish hotlines with toll-free lines that people don't have to pay, so they can call in at any point in time when they feel overwhelmed with the pain, somebody to talk to. And like you said, once it's discussed, they're 85%, 50% solved. So, and they will find out that it's not so overwhelming after all, and they're not the only ones going through that kind of issues.
I must ask you, Nigeria is ranked 6th happiest in Africa. Are we really happy?
Well, for one, I don't know the indices that we're used to rate to make that percentage, the rating. But I want to believe that Nigerians as a people, over time, we are sort of resilient. We have a lot of coping mechanisms. We've been able to go through so many instances of adverse situations that if we were other countries, the whole country will have broken down. But somehow we'll be able to put together, find coping mechanisms. But it appears as if nowadays, for some, the situation, the stressors are really becoming overwhelming, that some can't really cope anymore. And they'll rather take the way out to, commit suicide.
All right, many thanks, Dr. Funmi Akinola. She's a consultant psychiatrist at the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Yaba. Many thanks for coming on the news.
Thank you very much.
And in part 2, after the break, youths in Benin City picket corporate headquarters of Nigerian Petroleum Development Commission in the Edo State capital, protesting alleged marginalization. Stay with us.
Break free with EasyClick and get the freedom to choose your bonus. Choose 350% bonus to call your peeps on a T-Select, or 250% bonus to call other networks, or get 100% data bonus to connect you to the world. Also enjoy unlimited access to digital content. Dial *545# to choose your preferred EasyClick bonus. EasyClick, freedom to choose.
Value. When your day of retirement comes, that's all that really matters. One of the factors that separates ordinary people from those who enjoy wealth is their trust over the years in a PFA that generates good returns on their pension fund. So live the life of a most valued pensioner. MVP, knowing that Nigeria's MVPFA is working tirelessly for you, creating wealth for the retirement you desire. Crusaders Sterling Pensions, a member of the Custodian and Allied PLC Group.
True African beauty shows independence, can steer ambition, is a statement about you. Complement your natural beauty with Ivory Beauty Soap. You and Ivory. Celebrate your African beauty.
C? That's it? F?
C!
But she's academically so good.
Could have been better.
My grade, fitness F.
Emotional well-being E. E?
I want you to play with me until you get tired.
Mom, I want you and the baby to be healthy.
Promise. I'll eat healthy foods, okay? I love you.
We will always play together and we will be champions.
No. Oh boy, I know where we should go, but
I know it's gonna be interesting.
I know what you should wear. I know what will get you in the mood.
I know what will make you smile, eh?
We rise. We unite. We create. We are passion. We are belief. We are fire in our hearts. We are made of black.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our major stories. African business executives at the Africa CEO Forum prescribe good political governance as catalyst for reshaping the continent's economic future. Self-styled leader of indigenous people of Biafra, NNAMDI KANU, to know his fate on April the 25th when Abuja Federal High Court rules on his bail application. A search continues for body of Dr. Olwell Orji, who allegedly jumped to his death into Lagos Lagoon. Unnamed woman also rescued after plunging into lagoon. An FBI Director, James Comey, confirmed investigation of alleged Russian government interference in the 2016 U.S. presidential election. And for more on our top stories and others, please visit our website, channelstv.com and youtube.com/channelsweb. Watch us on the go on any mobile device by logging on to m.channelstv.com or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows devices from their respective stores. Having the Channels TV and Channels 24 apps will give you access to news and updates. You also have the Eyewitness feature, so you too can be part of the news. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu and follow the instructions to share those pictures, videos or news of happenings around you. And we have some of the pictures that you sent into our Eyewitness portal. Let's start with one from Mafoluko area of Lagos State, showing a blocked canal. Our Eyewitness reporter is calling on relevant government agencies to indeed look at this, clear it to prevent erosion as the rains come. The next photo is from Yanapaja, also in Lagos. It's showing this vehicle that's in bad shape. Our Eyewitness reporter wants such vehicles as this prevented from plying our roads. From Abak in Akwa Ibom State comes this photo showing the state of a government secondary school there. This building, our Eyewitness reporter says, inhibits learning and calls on the state government to fix it in the interest of its future leaders. This last picture is from Warri, Delta State, showing a road under construction. According to our Eyewitness reporter, residents are grateful to the state government for fixing the road, but appeals for durability with good quality materials. Well, we thank you for sending in those pictures and ask that you keep them coming. Some youth under the aegis of Benin Solidarity Movement today picketed the Benin corporate headquarters of the Nigerian Petroleum Development Commission, NPDC, in Benin City, the Edo State capital. They demanded that the company readdress alleged marginalization of Benin youth and the allocation of employment process in the company.
Members of the Benin Solidarity Movement picketing the corporate headquarters of the Nigerian Petroleum Development Company (NPDC) on Sapele Road, Benin City, the Edo State capital. Their presence leads to the disruption of vehicular movement on the usually busy road. The group's grouse is on the company's alleged marginalization in employment opportunities and its failure to meet its corporate social responsibility.
Over 200 oil wells flowing in our Benin land, and we are suffering. Let them pick their list of employment and show you the number of Beninese that are employed. Let them show you the social infrastructure they put in place in terms of education.
All the oil companies in Benin will be shut down. Right from Benin, the local government, and Ovia, all Dubioya, Saplat will be also shut down. They promised borehole, they promised community center, they promised to give jobs to the elderly and so on and so on. They even make a royalty and so on. They don't.
An official of the company speaks with the protesters.
I beg your leaders here that you should please just give us that little benefit of doubt that we like to recognize your leaders. We will talk with your leaders, after which we will get back to you.
Coming from the closed-door discussions, the delegates disclosed the outcome of the meeting.
They have given us their word that by 2 weeks' time they will talk, they will give us all details of what we require, and we are going to make a tour around all their social, corporate social responsibilities they've done. The number of our people they've given scholarship to and given bursary to, we told them that we want to get the list of them.
For now, the group departs, hoping that the company will do the needful within the 2 weeks agreed to.
Let's go over to our Abuja studios where Ivy Clem has some more stories. Hello, Ivy.
Hello, Millicent. The Minister of Interior, retired General Abdul Rahman Dambanzao, has approved a new set of immigration regulations that would aid the government monitor and check movement of terrorists through the nation's borders. The new 2017 regulation approves the issuance of visa on arrival in Nigeria, enforcement of an immigration register, and temporary work permit, among others. The new regulation is the first since 1963, when the last Immigration Act was passed by Parliament. Our correspondent Gloria Umeozoke reports.
Smuggling of migrants, bombings and herdsmen attacks are among the top issues which broaden the need to tighten the nation's immigration laws.
The ministry can perform these.
Diplomats and top government officials were among those who witnessed the executive approval.
The immigration regulations 2017.
The Minister of Interior points out that the 80-section regulation will enhance protection against cross-border crimes.
Include temporary work permits, visa on arrival, entry for business purpose, immigrants register, to register all immigrants in Nigeria, restriction of immigrants' movements, and also movement of terrorist groups and individuals. There is this biometrics identity card, which we are working on, and that identity card serves as also a passport for movement in and out of the country.
These regulations will not stifle businesses, but will have positive impact on the nation, according to the immigration's boss.
It's only when you are spending more than 90 days that you are mandated to do the registration. Registration, these people will fight terrorism, will fight all forms of crime. Once we know who is where, we know that you are in our country, you are in our territory, we have you, we know your address, it makes things easier. It will help transnational crime to be fought effectively between two countries.
The Comptroller General underscores that the visa on arrival conforms with the executive order signed by President Muhammadu Buhari on the ease of doing business in Nigeria. Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television.
Reactions have continued to trail the non-confirmation of Mr. Ibrahim Magu as the EFCC chairman by the Nigerian Senate. A legal practitioner, Mr. Edwin Clark, believes that the Senate's action is a slap on the Nigerian people, while a policy analyst, Mr. Isaac Anumudu, says the lawmakers were in order. The two of them were guests at our breakfast show, Sunrise Daily.
There's a shakeism going on, and it does not augur well for Nigeria. I'm not here to stand, for Magu, but I'm saying that Nigeria has passed a stage where a clique of people that believes they rule this country, despite and in spite of who is the president. You ask yourself, why should there be a request for a second letter, and who made the request? The request should not have been made if made by the Senate, because the president has already cleared this man of the allegations he claimed was made against him by the DSS first report. By asking for a second report, quite outside the first report, then you should have allowed the presidency to be aware of this before his presence before the Senate. Because this is not a slap in the face of Magu. This is a slap in the face of the president. This is a slap on all Nigerians.
Section 2, subsection 3 of the EFCC Act, the law setting up EFCC, simply says the chairman of the commission and members of the board shall be nominated by the president and appointed by the president, subject to the confirmation of the Senate. So it's so clear that the impression being given here, with all due respect to the NNAMDI Chief Robert Clark, a very senior lawyer I respect a whole lot, the impression being given by persons that hold his view and that of Professor Sagi and all of that is that if the issue of EFCC chairman, the appointment is the job of the president alone. No, we are in a democracy, and the intendment of Section 2, subsection 3 of the EFCC Act is to take away arbitrary powers from the executive, because the issue of EFCC chairmanship is a very sensitive position, very powerful position, and seeing the damage corruption has done to our fabric as a society, the intendment was to put someone there who will be above board, who will be transparent, and who will be acceptable to all Nigerians. Magu was not rejected based on the security report of the DSS alone. Some of us watched the screening, and we saw that Magu was rejected not just on the report alone, but based on his inability to show competence for the job. He was asked critical questions relating to his job, which he could not answer.
When the news at 10 returns, all eyes on the Central Bank of Nigeria as its Monetary Policy Committee begins its second rates meeting for the year. That's on Business News. Join us again.
There's an old saying in Nigeria, a good name is better than gold. At First Bank, we know that our reputation, built on award-winning services, is what keeps us in the coveted position of market leader. A reputation for understanding our customers' modern lifestyles and business needs. You first, First Bank.
Beautiful things are happening when the sun goes down, and when the night is darkest, that's the time our light shines bright. It's good to take some time away to put a smile on someone's face. Smile for me, smile for you, smile because you know that happiness is sure. Let your joy be more, so everywhere you go, you can make your laughter loud. Oh, you don't have to be there to make your presence felt. No matter where you are, we can be together in love. Oh, together in love. Oh, no matter where you live, together in love. No matter where you are, together in love. I will always be with you.
We unite. We defy. We hope, we dream, we play. We are fire in our hearts. We are made of black.
That's only fair. If you study hard, you deserve good grades. That's only fair. If you train hard, you deserve to win the prize. That's only fair. If you work hard as an employee, you should have something to show for it. That's only fair. At Premium Pension, we understand it's what you put in that guarantees a secure future. Talk to us today about your pension plan. Premium Pension. The future starts now.
Chewing gum neutralizes bad odor. It doesn't just disguise them, it gives you real minty breath.
Welcome back. 2 deaths may have been confirmed from the Queen's College water epidemic that hit the school in January, but some other students are still receiving treatment. Our correspondent Loretta Chiogo was at the school and the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, Lasuth, and reports that 2 of the students are in critical condition.
Queen's College is one of the reputable schools any parent would love to put their children. But since January this year, the school has suffered water epidemic that has so far landed some of its junior school students in the hospital. The deaths of 2 students in February has been linked to the water contamination in the school. So far, about 11 students have been brought into the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, Lasuth, for treatment. That's according to the Chief Medical Director, Professor David Oke, who refused to speak on camera. He says there's improvement on 2 critical cases, while 2 have been discharged.
How are you?
Not one parent is bold enough to express their state of mind on camera. You okay now? We moved to the school where it all happened. After being shut for days, the school reopens amidst calls that the environment is not yet conducive for learning, therefore should remain shut. No school authority is willing to speak to us on camera, but we're told that only junior and secondary school exam classes are on for now, until the water situation is corrected. Examination begins in April. It is not clear if the recuperating students will be part of it. Loretta Chiogo, Channels Television News.
The police have paraded 20 persons suspected to be masterminds of the crisis that rocked Ile-Ife in Osun State on March the 8th, 2017, which claimed over 40 lives. The force's public relations officer, Jimoh Moshood, during a news conference in Abuja, stressed the need for peaceful coexistence of all citizens. Mr. Jimoh, who announced that 18 other persons have been released for lack of evidence against them, added that the 20 suspects will be arraigned in court as soon as investigations are concluded.
The operations covered the entire Ile-Ife and environment and other flash and trouble spots in Osun State and was successfully executed, leading to the arrest and detention and investigation of 38 suspects, out of which 20 suspects were found culpable to have directly and indirectly been involved in the killing of innocent people, maiming and destruction of properties of the victims worth millions of naira. They will be prosecuted on completion of investigation. While the remaining 18 suspects have been released unconditionally for lack of prima facie evidence against them yet. To this end, the Inspector General of Police hereby assure the good people and communities of Ile-Ife and other parts of the state of adequate security and protection of their lives and property, and equally enjoins them to be law-abiding and give a chance for peace to prevail.
As required by law, only 2 registered political parties have declared their election expenses to the Independent National Electoral Commission after the 2015 elections. Well, this was made known by the chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, at a news conference in Abuja. The event brought together media professionals who expressed delight that the electoral body has finally realized the importance of the media in the development of Nigeria's democracy.
It's the first time the Independent National Electoral Commission is meeting with the media exclusively. It is a new move the Commission hopes would allow the media practitioners make input into the work of the Commission and by extension impact on the electoral process. Professor Mahmoud Yakubu spoke on several issues, including party financing.
It is the parties that report about campaign finance 6 months after the election. All political parties are in default of reporting. So far, only 2 parties have complied with the 6 months requirement. And the 2 political parties that complied simply told the Commission that we received nothing and therefore we have nothing to declare.
The INEC chairman seized the opportunity to explain the significance of announcing the dates of the forthcoming elections.
We cannot continue as a nation to be masters of the fire brigade. As our democracy matures, we should be moving from uncertainty to certainty. And once the nation knows the date for the next general election, it is easier for all of us to plan.
Among the media professionals at the event is the national president of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, who describes journalists as citizens and critical stakeholders who have significant roles to play.
As media, we don't have opinion on things. We just report what happens. We reflect what is, we are a mirror. We reflect the society to the government and the government to the society.
The interaction between the media and the INEC chairman, backed by his national commissioners, was robust and engaging, raising hopes of a strategic partnership that will consolidate the nation's democratic experience. Ibrahim Adra, Channels Television News.
And for the day's top business stories, here's Anne Nwaldo.
You first. First Bank.
Thanks a lot, Millicent. Now, the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria has begun its second meeting for the year. At the two-day meeting in Abuja, analysts expect the committee to hold rates at current levels. Meanwhile, at the opening of the Monetary Policy Committee retreat over the weekend, the CBN, the Ministry of Trade and Investment, and the Ministry of Finance agreed to collaborate more on policies to help grow the economy. The second meeting is coming on the heels of S&P Global Ratings affirming its B long and short-term sovereign credit ratings on the Nigerian economy. The Central Bank of Nigeria today extended its intervention in the forex market through the interbank window with an additional supply of $180 million to help meet the bids for on wholesale auction, as well as requests for medicals, school fees and personal travel allowances. This was confirmed by the spokesman of the financial regulator, Mr. Isaac Okorafor. Mr. Okorafor says the latest dollar disbursement is expected to further boost liquidity and strengthen the naira at the forex market in the coming days. He added that the wholesale forwards will be settled on Tuesday, March the 21st and delivered within the next 60 days. Well, despite the negative performance in the industrial goods sector of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, the oil and gas, the banking and the consumer goods sectors managed to lift the markets today. Bisi Adebayo has the details.
As the Central Bank's Monetary Policy Committee begins its two-day rate-setting meeting today, the key benchmark index closed in positive territory, while the all-share index rose by a marginal 0.07%, while market capitalization added just about 1 billion naira to close at 8.88 trillion naira on Monday. Volume was impressive, with a total of 495.23 million shares worth over 2.54 billion naira exchanged in 2,587 deals. The price table saw a negative gap of 13 gainers, led in percentage value by Mobil, Nigerian Aviation Handling Company, and Fitson Healthcare, against 22 losers, led by United Capital, Guinness, and Custodian and Allied Insurance. However, Custodian and Allied Insurance was the major contributor to the overall transaction, with over 170 million shares traded by investors. And that's it on the stock market reports. I am Bisi Adebayo.
Thanks a lot, BC. On Wall Street, U.S. stocks opened lower today after a very busy week for Federal Reserve speakers. With more details from the NASDAQ market site in New York is VOA Channels TV business correspondent Jill Malandrino.
U.S. stocks opened slightly lower following another green week in equities. The Dow Jones Industrial Average closed up less than 0.1%. The S&P 500 closed up about 0.2%, with the NASDAQ Composite blowing away the other averages, gaining 0.7% on the week and touching a new intraday high on Friday. Let's quickly update the status of the bull market. The S&P 500 has grinded higher for 182 trading days without a 5% pullback, the longest such streak since February 11th, 2004. That's according to Dow Jones data. Over those 182 days, the S&P 500 has gained nearly 19%. At this point, traders I speak to believe even most bulls would love a 3 to 5% pullback to get repositioned, as it's been a very long rally post-election without a pullback of significance. The U.S. dollar is mixed as the pound rose for a fourth straight session on Monday, following last week's hawkish surprise from a Bank of England member who voted to increase interest rates. Oil futures slipped as some reports cited the drop on global growth. Worries after G20 G20 officials removed anti-protectionist language from a policy statement. Now, this week brings a heavy lineup of Fed speakers, including Chair Janet Yellen on Thursday, which follows the central bank's decision to resume interest rate increases last Wednesday. The earnings calendar is quiet, although FedEx and Nike will report on Tuesday morning before the market opens. From the NASDAQ market site in New York, I'm Jill Malandrino, and this is VOA Channel's Business News.
And it's mixed closing across board for global equities as investors weigh the outcome of the G20 finance ministers meeting over the weekend and the focus on potential impact that trade barriers could have on global growth. Let's see the numbers. That's Business News Night. Thanks a lot for watching. I'm Anne Nwaodo. Back to you, Millicent.
You first. First Bank.
Many thanks, Anne. The federal government says it is seeking the support and understanding of stakeholders in the development of the nation's mining industry in order to fully tap its value chain for economic diversification and development. Well, this is coming from the Minister of Mines and Steel, Mr. Kayode Fayemi, while on a facility tour of the Dangote cement factory in Ogun State, southwest Nigeria. The visit by the Minister of Mines and Steel is to acquaint himself with the operations of Dangote Cement PLC, located in Igbeshi, Ogun State. The company says it has done a lot to establish itself a major player in the mining sector, and its advisor explains why.
To make 1 ton of cement, we need to win and source 1.6 tons of raw materials. We have to mine 1.6 tons of raw materials. So you mean that here we will be mining 20 million tons of raw materials every year just at this location.
The tour then commences with the minister inspecting the mining and production lines. After the tour, the minister expresses the readiness of government to develop the sector in the face of the current recession.
We can glean from this, and we must encourage Dangote and similar plans to continue to put their effort into turning us into a mining nation, because that's what this does. We're not just producing limestone. We don't just have bitumen. We don't just have gold. This is limestone turned to cement. And it is when you achieve the full value chain that you become a mining nation.
For the company advisor, before any meaningful progress can be recorded in the sector, there are steps the federal government needs to take.
All the policies in the area of mining are very important for encouraging and sustaining investment. As you are aware, with this diversification and greater focus on the oil sector, the mining sector is one that everybody is looking into now.
With this visit by the minister, there is high optimism that the sector can improve as long as the policies to attract the needed investors are set up by the federal government. And following the recent court judgment on a case filed by Fijabi Holdings and another versus Nigeria Bottling Company and NAFDAC joined as nominal party, a meeting was subsequently summoned by the Minister of Health with the Department of Food and Drug Services, the Federal Ministry of Health, National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control NAFDAC, as well as the Standards Organization of Nigeria SON to address the related issues. The following findings have been released. Both benzoic acid and ascorbic acid, vitamin C, are ingredients approved by international food safety regulators and used in many food and beverage products around the world. Codex Alimentarius Commission, CAC, is the organ established by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations and the World Health Organization to set internationally recognized standards, codes of practice, guidelines relating to foods, food production and food safety. The Coca-Cola products manufactured in Nigeria are safe for consumption in view of the following reasons. Risk assessment was conducted to ascertain maximum limits of food additives acceptable in foods. With reference to the Codex standards, each country or region is permitted to adopt a standard that is a limit based on country-specific scientific evidence, such as environmental, storage and distribution conditions. In view of the above, Nigerians are advised to take medicines with potable water, as this would help prevent unexpected drug-food interactions. For the benefit of the health of all Nigerians, all bottling companies are encouraged to insert advisory warnings on all products as necessary. And still ahead on the news at 10, Ghanaian referee Joseph Lamte gets life ban from FIFA for match manipulation. That's in sports. Stay with us.
There is a place the whole world is talking about. A place where big things are happening. A place that is providing the unexpected. A place that is optimistic and vibrant.
Welcome, sir. Thank you.
A place where the old traditions live happily alongside the new.
First time in Africa, sir?
Yes, it is. But it certainly won't be my last.
A place that is achieving the impossible. Welcome to the bank that believes in empowering the people of Africa to achieve a great many things. Welcome to the bank that believes that even greater opportunities and partnerships lie ahead. Welcome to Guarantee Trust Bank. Wouldn't you rather bank with us?
True African beauty shows independence, can steer ambition, is a statement about you. Complement your natural beauty with Ivory Beauty Soap. You and Ivory celebrate your African beauty.
We rise. We unite. We create. We are passion. We are belief. We are fire in our hearts. We are made of black.
I know. Oh boy, I know where we should go, but
I know it's gonna be interesting.
I know what you should wear. I know what will get you in the mood.
I know what will make you smile, eh?
Zoto Mobile Recharge app, one of Nigeria's fastest growing mobile payment startups, is fast capturing its share of the mobile airtime recharge market in Nigeria. The company, which started in 2015, has attained a milestone of 1 million users and is celebrating this feat by giving away free airtime worth 500 naira to its customers. All existing and new users of Zoto mobile application will be eligible for the 500 naira free airtime with immediate effect and for a short period of time. Co-founder of the company, Oshone Kazubo, who describes the Zoto mobile app as safe as a bank channel, says the app is a Nigerian homegrown brand that is certified by the Central Bank of Nigeria and backed by a strong team of engineers. The CEO attributes the success to the acceptance of Nigerians, saying, quote, Zoto and team would like to say a big thank you to our users for all their love and trust showed on us, end of quote. Zoto mobile app was also trending as #1 app in the Android App Store, another shopping category. All right, now let's get served with the latest in sports. Here's Charles Aruka.
Welcome to Sports News. Nigeria's junior table tennis players will again be aiming for a place in this year's World Junior Championships as well as the 2018 Youth Olympic Games when the ITTF African Junior Championship serves off in Tunis on April the 9th. 4 African teams will qualify for the World Junior Tourney in Italy later in the year, while 2 countries will also represent Africa at the 2018 Youth Olympic Games in Argentina. The Nigeria Table Tennis Federation has confirmed that players who will represent Nigeria at the tournament were part of the Olufunke Oshaneke Clinic, and they are expected to resume camping soon. And ahead of Thursday's international friendly against the Teranga Lions of Senegal, 17 of the 25 invited Super Eagles have arrived at the Crown Plaza camp of the team in London. The early birds include Chidozie Awaziem of FC Porto, Watford's Isaac Success, and Trabzonspor's Ogenyi Onazi. Others are goalkeeper Carly Keme, Arsenal's Alex Iwobi, Kelechi Hanacho, Moses Simon, Shehu Abdullahi, Wilfred Ndidi, Bassi Noah, Leon Balogun, William Troost Ekong, and Vice-Captain Ahmed Musa, Tyrone Ebuehi, John Ogu, Kenneth Omero, and Chelsea's Victor Moses were the last set of players to arrive in camp. The game will take place at the Hive, Barnet FC's home ground, on March the 23rd, with a game against Burkina Faso coming up 4 days later at the same venue. Now, the FIFA Disciplinary Committee has decided to ban for life the Ghanaian match official Joseph Lamptey from taking part in any football-related activity at national and international level. The official was found guilty of unlawfully influencing match results during the 2018 FIFA World Cup qualifying match between South Africa and Senegal on November the 12th, 2016. Further information concerning the game will be provided once the decision becomes final and binding. And in Europe, Arsenal have denied they've approached Borussia Dortmund about appointing their manager Thomas Tuchel as replacement for Arsene Wenger. The French manager's contract expires at the end of the season, but he's been offered a new 2-year deal. Wenger says he'll announce very soon whether he'll stay after reaching a decision on his future. And in tennis, new BNP Paribas Open champion Roger Federer has described his victory as a dream come true. It was his 90th career title at the Indian Wells. Federer is now heading to the Miami Open, where he last won the title in 2006, beating his current coach Ivan Ljubicic of Croatia in the final. That's the last service on Sports News, and back to Millicent with the rest of the news at 10.
Many thanks, Charles. And on the foreign scene, there have been more revelations from the U.S. House of Representatives committee hearing on President Trump's wiretapping claims and his campaign's collusion with Russia. FBI Director James Comey, who appeared before the committee in his opening statement, confirmed publicly for the first time that the Bureau is investigating alleged Russian interference in the election. He said the FBI would assess whether crimes were committed, although President Trump has denied any collusion. He later said he had no information to support claims by President Donald Trump that he was wiretapped by former President Barack Obama. He also said that no president could order a wiretapping operation against anyone.
The President's tweets about alleged wiretapping directed at him by the prior administration, I have no information that supports those tweets, and we have looked carefully inside the FBI. The Department of Justice has asked me to share with you that the answer is the same for the Department of Justice and all its components. The Department has no information that supports those tweets.
Nothing found. This is McCarthyism.
And the main news again. African business executives at the Africa CEO Forum today prescribed good political governance as catalyst for reshaping the continent's economic future. Also today, self-styled leader of indigenous people of Biafra, NNAMDI Kanu, and 3 others to know their fate on April the 25th, when Federal High Court in Abuja will rule on their bail applications. And FBI Director James Comey confirms allegation of alleged Russian government interference in the 2016 U.S. presidential election. And that's news at 10 at this time. Many thanks for watching. I'm Millicent Walker. Good night.
and welcome to News Across Nigeria. I'm Joke Rogers. Coming up on the program. Angry secondary school students protests alleged killing of their colleague by a son of a top politician in Lafia, Nasarawa State. A middle-aged man jumps off Third Mainland Bridge in Lagos State. And the Kwara State government flags off construction of 5,000 houses across the state for those who cannot afford a home. The students of Government Science Secondary School Lafia, Nasarawa State have taken to the streets to protest against the alleged killing of their colleague by a son of a top politician. The students swarmed the streets carrying leaves and placards with inscriptions demanding for justice. It took the intervention of police officers, officers of the Nigerian Civil Defense Corps and teachers from the school to calm them down. Students of the government secondary school swarming the streets of Lafia, the Nasarawa state capital. They are protesting against